Um, but the area of concern is your notes. How are we gonna do that? How are we gonna fix that problem?
Um, so I don't think it's going to be a problem for Jern at all, in all honesty. So it's okay. Wait, hold on. All right. So Ali, do you want to just tell Larissa where you are and everything, so she just got some context?
Okay, yes. Hi, Larissa. I'm from Cape Town, but I teach in Saudi Arabia, and I'm currently in Saudi Arabia, and I've been doing this course since 2.5 years, and now, and yeah, that's about it.
Okay, Larissa, do you
Right.
want to share who you are? Yeah, for putting your mic on. Because this is a small class, we tend to rely on our mics quite a bit. Ooh, sorry, I just pushed my phone open to see if the others had replied. Larissa, are you up for speaking? Oh, your mic doesn't seem to want to talk. No, can't hear it all. It's not showing you any mic sound registering. Damn it. Or do you want to just type a bit of who you are just so that can connect the dots? All right, while you're doing that, so let's just discuss Journ 3 or Journ 2, sorry, and the module and everything. So yes, we can't give you guys notes this year. And for Journ, it really isn't the end of the world. Reason being that the majority of the Journ stuff is quite self-explanatory. You have got no textbook, which is a nice change from last year having to buy two. And it's also very practical in nature. So all those skills that you learned in Journ 1, you're going to put into practice in Journ 2 and kind of build upon those skills from Journ 2. So with that, it means that you are going to be using the fundamentals of your 5Ws in H and inverted pyramid and all that. But then this semester, it's about developing those skills, adding to them, and making sure that you're able to basically elevate your writing. So this semester, we're going to look at, building those basics. So we're not going to be talking about the brown chair. It'll be the chocolate brown chair and adding details. Cool. All right. So yeah, Larissa knows me from Durban North. So she joined for some of our online lectures and all that. So it's nice to have you back. Nice to have you with me again. So what we're going to be doing is our collabs are going to be a lot of discussion. All right. The moment I just have a blank screen, I know that. But you guys both know my face and what have you. So, but normally I'll put, new stories up and all that kind of thing. And what our focus is this semester is writing for the community, writing for impact, and making sure that you understand how to write in an effective manner. So the idea here is that our focus is not necessarily about learning the fundamentals and the writing styles. It's about taking what you learned previously and building upon that. So what that means is we'll do a lot of discussions, talk about topics, bounce ideas backwards and forwards. And what we will do is look at different concepts of participatory journalism, humanitarian activism, citizen, mobile journalism, all those different aspects, and look at how they fit into the bigger picture of journalism. So, like I said, you don't have a textbook, but you have a ton of prescribed material. All right. So you'll notice, I'm just going to pull up your pacer, which I just realized I haven't uploaded. Give me 1 second. If we look at your pacer, what you'll see is that normally I have your, how do I put this? You normally have, why am I going blank? Oh, you normally have activities, and then you normally have with that, like you've got all the additional links. Because your module is based on readings already and not a textbook, I took out the additional readings on top of that because there just physically is not that many hours in the day for you to read all the prescribed material that they've suggested, as well as additional readings on top of that. Okay. You don't have that time available to you. Okay. Whether you're, Larissa, are you working this year or are you just studying? Because Ali works at a school, so, you know, his time is taken up. So, and the others also work as well. Okay, that's awesome. So you've got a bit more time on your hands. So you can see here, just for learning unit 1, there's 29 suggested readings for learning unit 1. Okay. Now I'm going to say something which might be seen as controversial, but you do not need to go through every single one of these readings. Okay? It is insane to go through for one learning unit 20, what did I just say? 29 readings. Okay. So what I suggest to you is that when you start working through the material, work through the first few readings that they've got. See if you're getting the gist of it. Look through the activities, look through the learning objectives, and if you feel like you're not understanding the concept, say for example participatory journalism, then go on and start doing more of the readings. But if you're feeling like you've got a good grasp of the concept, if I've, you know, when I'm going through it with you, it makes sense, and you know, in that, just see how well you are starting to understand the concepts. Because if you go and try and read every single one, you might get information overload, and there will be also a lot of repetition. For your modules, for the learning units that have less readings, then obviously you can work through them. All right. Some of them have got 9, for example, for learning unit 2, learning unit 3 has 8. So there aren't as many readings. So it's not nearly as bad. So the whole focus here, or the whole idea, is that you know, get through the content as and when you feel you can, and just make sure that you know you feel like you've got a good understanding of what is going on. Okay. But if you feel like you're not getting the grasp of it, then carry on going through the readings. Okay. Does that make sense to the two of you? Okay, cool. All right. So we still don't have the date for your part submission. All right. They said it should be released from Monday onwards. All right. We do have your part. And so, like I said in the announcement, I've guessed it's going to be somewhere near the end of April. I could be completely and utterly wrong. Ooh, new pass. All right, let me get that quickly while I'm talking to you. We didn't get given it. Okay, so let me get that then. Does it have the journ date on it? Have you had a look? Because then I can update it ASAP. 14th of April. Right. Okay. So I will definitely be changing that tomorrow morning then. So, damn it. I was really hoping that I'd got it in a kind of working manner. But okay, that's fine. So it just means we'll shift things around a little bit just to make sure that we have enough time focusing on your assignment. The one nice thing about your assignment, it is one question. All right, that's it. So that is really helpful because you're not writing multiple massive essays. It is a 2,000 to 2,500 word essay, which is 4 to 5 pages. So it is long, but you'll see that there's quite a few aspects of the essay. that all work together. So that is why the word count is high, but at least it is only one essay. So we've got to go with that as a positive. I'm just seeing now the updated one, 2023. Oh, BOA3. Okay, so they haven't updated the first year and the second years yet. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for that. I'll see if they will hopefully do that too soon. So with, have they put the, oh, they still only have the assignment in. How frustrating. I mean, the parts, the assignments, they don't have the summative dates. I was hoping the update would have the summative dates, but hopefully we'll get that soon. All right. So how you guys are going to be structuring all this, just to give you guys a bit of insight. Your part focuses on the theory and your POE focuses on the practical. So to the point where you guys are going to create websites, you're going to do posts, you're going to do a blog, and you're going to upload everything onto a website. Okay? So the idea here is that when you actually upload the content, I mark it via the website. Okay? We have to then think about ensuring that we focus on the theory first, then work on the practical, make sure that you're able to create a website, make sure you're able to do posts, do blog posts, and do all of that. So we will spend a bit of time working on that, like me showing you what to do in Wix to make sure you create a website effectively, that kind of thing. Yeah, it is all new. Listen, remember with NCTE how you guys all freaked out last semester? Not you, Larissa, obviously, but the others. How you freaked out about it all, and then you guys were fine. So don't panic. We always get through it together in the end. Remember, you guys are able to WhatsApp me and chat to me whenever you want. So please feel free to do so because I am here and I am available to help you guys. All right. So the next, so it's the part, the ask task. All the ask tasks I've put in the folder, the ask task folder already under more resources. So you're able to work through those ask tasks at your own pay. Oh, no, I haven't. Okay, sorry. I will do that. Am I in the right group? Yes, online. Oh, sorry. I've added the ask task to my face-to-face instead of my online. I keep clicking on theirs instead of yours. I'm so sorry. I'll get on that tonight and make sure that those are all uploaded. All right. So that you're able to actually see what you need to do for us. There's only 5 learning units in the module. So it's not a, no, yes, 5. Okay. So it's not a lot, but what happens is you just go into more depth into each of them. All right. Now, have either of you had a chance to work through the content of Learning Unit 1? Because that obviously impacts our lecture tonight. Okay, nope. Larissa, you've read some of the articles. Okay, all right. Okay, then I'm just going to change my approach a little bit. I'm going to kind of do a laying the foundation thing. We won't, because it's just a 2V, we won't use the full hour because, yeah, especially with you guys not having completely completed everything. What that means is just in our next collab, what we must do is just do Learning Unit 1 and Learning Unit 2, and then I'll move Learning Unit 3 till the following week or whatever. We'll play around until we get it right. Okay. It's only Learning Unit 1 and 2 in your assignment, so we can move Learning Unit 3 later. So it actually works out fine in terms of the assignment being earlier than what I thought it was going to be. All right. So when what you guys are used to writing from last year or the year before is journalism being all about content that is as straightforward as possible, factual, and the idea is that people do not have a lot of time. They don't have the ability to delve deeper into topics, and we're all about getting information out as quickly as possible. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that sound familiar? Okay. So with that, we are now building upon that. Now we're writing the in-depth stories. Now we're writing the detailed stories. So what I want to set up just with you guys is the expectations of what I'm looking for in your writing for this semester. So before, with your 5WH, your inverted pyramids, all that kind of thing, it's all very straightforward. Okay. There's no description, no detail, and the only form of emotion or picture that's being painted is directly through the quotes. All right, not through any additional content. But now, what I'm working with you guys, we're working with specific types of journalism, that being participatory, community, humanitarian, activism, and a bit later, citizen journalism. All right. All these styles of journalism are about bringing out the emotion and getting people wanting to be involved, having all the big feels and what have you when they read these stories. So what you have to work on is the description, the detail, the those elements that help you paint the picture. So I'm not talking like go on full on like English description, like in your poems and the books that you guys read and stuff, but it's about just adding in a few extra descriptive words to help paint the picture for the audience. We want people to feel emotion. So those emotions you need to get from quotes. Those emotions need to come through the voice of those who are experiencing the events. It's not about your voice. While we want the description and the detail, it's not your voice that we want to hear about, it's those who experience these events. So while you might give description as in what you might see around you and the visuals and what is about, but you wouldn't say, all I can see is this, and it's you would more write and say all around is carnage, for example. So you talk about what is visible, what is seen, but not from a first person perspective, from as if you're a fly on the wall looking down. So you guys need to start incorporating your five senses. Okay, so your taste, touch, feel, smell, and what you hear. All right, whether it be directly from you as the person experiencing and being in the environment. So you can say the smell of gunpowder hangs in the air. That kind of thing is now okay. Now we want those details. All right, but then when it's talking about a car crash or what have you, you need the emotions from the person that experienced it firsthand, not from you seeing it after the fact. Does that make a bit of sense to you guys? Okay. So it's actually quite fun to do. It does kind of feel a bit strange in the beginning because you guys have been taught by me, or Larissa in your case by Nikki, to just write very factually, get the information out there as quickly as possible, where now it's all about giving the description, the detail. Yeah, exactly. That's what I love, Ali, is that we're now building upon your skills. And to me, this is what is more marketable out in the real world, which is important. So when we are starting to work through these concepts of participatory and activism and all that, it's the emotion, it's the description, it's the detail that gets people wanting to be involved. That is the whole key here. All right. But when you're working through the content, it's very important to understand that these are not your standard types of journalism. So your standard journalism is what we call your parachute journalism. Basically, an event happens, something goes wrong, journalists rush to the scene, gather as much information as possible, and bail, all right, to get their stories in to, try and be the first to break the news. That is your traditional journalism that we're used to, okay? And with this, we need to realize that we don't ever get to see the depth. We don't get to see the information that helps people to, you know, really get to the crux of the emotions and the feeling and what have you. So with our participatory and our citizen journalism and all those, the idea is that we are now able to actually become part of the story to a certain extent. So participatory journalism, humanitarian journalism, community journalism, activism journalism, it's not about being a passive onlooker for a short period of time. What's different and what's really cool is that you actually get to be part of that community for a period of time. So, for example, with participatory journalism, if you are a participatory journalist and you are working on a story, say on, I don't know, the impact of snails on French agriculture, okay? Sorry, most random topic that came to mind, but I'm so tired of talking about COVID and depressing things. So what we would do is you would actually spend a month or two in that area getting to know the farmers, getting to know those who are in the story, that are active, that are, you know, really involved, and that you really become, sorry, I'm just typing deviant art. I just want to show you guys something. So that are really, you're getting to know the real people behind the story. Because with your everyday journalism, you'd come in, take the photo, uh, record the story, and move on. Okay? You wouldn't be worrying about getting to know anything more than that. And the problem with that is that we don't really get to know the truth behind the stories. We don't get to know really the people that are part of our community. So what's awesome with participatory is we get to spend a bit of time, we get to know these people, and you get to see where the real story is. So it's not just about the short term, it's about the long term. And that's really important because the more we get to know these communities, the more we're willing to actually speak up for them. But here's the big but, okay? You still have to remain objective, okay? You can't go and report on stories and give your personal view. We still want that objectivity, but the emotion is shown through the stories that are being told, through the people that are the focus of your whole concept. So I'm going to show you an example. Okay. So I was just getting the photos up, so that's why I might have sounded a little distracted, but I want to show you these photos. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? Not yet. Hold on. Come on. There we go. Can you see the pictures? Cool. All right. So I'm focusing on, so these are my own images back in the day. And I want us, so you can see here, these are photos of a sheep farmer. And this was a photo story or documentary that I did on a community in Riebeck East, which is a small town outside of Grahamstown. All right. And what our brief was that we had to go to this. So this was one of the ladies her name was Jo Hool. And what we were told was go to this town. They're not giving us, whoopsie, any parameters, any instructions. Just go to this town and go and document the town. All right. And it's a bit intimidating because you don't know where to start, what to do, and so on. So we were told just to go and find what we could find. And what was amazing was that there was these 10 photojournalists in this community, and we were told to immerse ourselves for 2 months. I ended up following this family, the Hools, and it was what I chose to do was looking at farming in a small town, and it ended up being a story about the community and how these people are part of the community. And I also ended up documenting on a sideline about this community garden that was being run, which I would never have done if I would never have known about if I hadn't immersed myself into the story, into the community. And we got to know, so there was this gymnastics group and this community group that were going on during that time. And it was really cool because it was community and participatory journalism, because we were getting to be part of the community, getting to be part of this small town for, in our case, a term, so 2 months. And we really got to know these people, and it was really, really interesting. The other one that I did was the army. So there's an army base in Grahamstown, so you can see these photos here. And for 2, 3 months, I immersed myself into the army. So I was there at 5 in the morning doing morning roll call. They ended up having to go and help out during strikes and go work in the hospitals and all that. And I went along, and it's really about getting to know the community and getting to see what is the story really about. And the idea is that you go in with an open mind, hoping to get to know the people and getting stories that might not necessarily been covered or often would be missed, because we don't get that time to spend with these people. So that is why participatory journalism is so interesting, because it's that you get to be part of their world, but your stories are still needing to be about them and not your experience there. But it's just that you get to see a deeper side of the story. Does that make sense, guys? Or am I rattling off? All right, so that's your participatory. What do you think activism journalism could possibly be about? What is activism to you guys? Any idea? Okay, good, Ali. So it's campaigning a certain view, it's putting out a certain perspective. So activism, where participatory journalism is about spending time and getting to know the community. Activism journalism works a little bit differently in that you get involved within an event for that time period that it becomes the focus of society's view. So when Black Lives Matter becomes more prominent within society, you don't just, report from the sidelines. You go to all the marches, you get involved. Yes, exactly, Ali. So where activism is that you are working on that particular topic or issue, whether it be gender-based violence, Black Lives Matter, um, student protests, whatever it is that you get involved in that activism, and you write from the perspective of shaping people's minds and trying to get people to see the point of view of those who are fighting or standing up for a particular side. So yes, in all these instances, these types of journalism are going to have bias. It's not going to be about only one perspective. All right. And there goes Larissa for load shedding. So so it's activism is about fighting for people, fighting for their perspective, and yeah, there is going to be some bias because you're wanting people to see their side. You're wanting people to actually go, hey, that's not okay. Killing people based on color is not okay. Killing people based on gender is not okay, and that kind of thing. So that's your activism. So it's that you actually become part of that community for that time period. All right. And then humanitarian is also slightly different. All right. Because humanitarian journalism is that you decide to dedicate your journalistic skills and your life and your writing to a particular issue that is facing humanity. So that could be world hunger, it could be global warming, any like area that you feel like there is an issue within society, um, you stand up for that particular issue. All right. So it means that you basically dedicate yourself to a specific organization or a specific cause, and your journalistic writing skills are used to shape and change the viewpoints of society. All right. So similarity to activism, but you don't ebb and flow like the activism events are. With humanitarian, you kind of stick with an issue and you stay with that, using your skills for good, essentially. Does that make sense?
So the humanitarian side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how does your position develop through your own readings, or do you look at what society thinks about the issue and then go with that issue to shape people's minds? How do you get to your position?
So that comes with time, comes with experience. So a lot of the humanitarian journalists and that are journalists that have been around in the industry for a while, or it's someone that has a keen sense of awareness around a particular issue. So, for example, I had a student, oh geez, 5 years ago, 5 years ago, 2019, yes, 2019, she finished. She was already in Greenpeace and was already part of a whole lot of activism and humanitarian groups. So she was studying to actually go and speak up and give a voice to Greenpeace, but write with the journalistic background to make sure that their voices were heard in the right way. So not just being heard as freaks or being over the top, whatever. She wanted to write in a proper journalistic way, but try raise awareness for these groups. Does that make sense?
Okay, so my it does make sense, right? But you know what I want
Mm-hmm.
to ask you, how do you
Mm-hmm.
know which position is right or wrong? And
That,
obviously
that's personal.
you're telling me experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the previous one in activism, you are biased because you want to give a voice to the marginalized, essentially.
Yes.
But now
Mm.
in humanitarian now, there's always going to be back and forth. Let's say, for example, global warming, right?
Yeah.
People don't care about global warming today. Some of them
Yeah.
do, but there's others that don't. So now, which one are you going to, which position are you going to take?
So that is a purely a personal choice. If you want to be part of a humanitarian campaign, you've obviously got to have a perspective. You've got to research it. You've got to actually believe in it to write from that perspective. So what's
Yeah.
important is that you've got to go with what goes with your ethical viewpoint
Yes, yes, that
and
makes
what you,
perfect sense. Yeah.
yeah, so what you're comfortable with. So how a lot of people start out is actually with community journalism, the other area that you're going to look at in Learning Unit 1. So community journalism is, you know that, so like in, I don't know if they have them in Saudi, but in SA where you have all those free publications that come to your house, like we have Highway Mail, or
Yes,
it's like
yes.
North
I
End News,
remember.
those kinds of things. You remember
Yes,
those?
yes.
That's your community journalism, where you're writing for your community. So the issues that you see your community facing, those are the stories that go into those publications. So it's not the big events like the
Like
world
maybe,
news and all
like maybe some guy, some child that he got Western Province under 13 rugby, man. He made the team, so now that's important for the community to show that from a previously disadvantaged community, here's someone who's actually doing well in sports. So then things
that.
like
Yes,
that will come in those type of newspapers. I remember when I was young and I used to
yes.
watch it, yeah, read it.
Yeah, 100%. So that's your community, and that's what actually the focus of your journalistic POE is going to be. Your journalistic piece, your focus is on stuff that's happening within your community, what's happening in and around you. So obviously yours is going to be very different from the others, but um, the whole point is choosing something that impacts you or your environment or that kind of thing. So it's the whole idea is that your community journalism is where most people start at your ground level. So you start in your community journalism, you work in that environment, reporting on the events that you know impact those around you, and then it builds. You go to bigger publications, and then eventually you go, actually, I want to just focus on world hunger or, you know, poverty within South Africa, and then you go work for those humanitarian organizations.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Does that make sense?
I'm perfectly with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. But obviously, once you work through the learning unit, it's going to make more sense because of all the
I think
readings
I
and
got
all
enough out of this this lecture
that.
already. It's like, oh, let's go write the exam now.
But this is the point,
It's
is that,
crazy.
like, I know everyone's freaking about the lack of notes, but the reality is you don't need it because we talk in class. We discuss the things, we, you know, when you've got an issue, you ask. So it's not an issue. And when, like, there's a specific thing from one of the articles, I'll say, okay, let's look at this article, and I'll put it up, and we'll say, okay, look at what they're saying with this and that, and you know what I mean? Like we've done in the past. So it's
Yeah,
not
okay,
going to
let's
be
let's
too
get to
bad.
work. Okay, I think we can stop here, Annie. Thank you so much. It's just for me now to go read the links and go look at the